Hello and welcome to everyone who's just joining. We'll give it a few minutes just to let all of our participants get in to the online event. If you have any questions, please do put them in the chat or the Q&A box. Obviously, we'll go through all of these at the end after the presentation and have a wonderful discussion. Numbers are slowly climbing up, which is lovely to see. Those of you just joined, we'll give it another few minutes and then we will begin. Right, we've had 2 minutes now for people to start filling in. I'm sure more people will join over the next few minutes, but as we want to stay on time, what we'll do is we'll start now and go over a brief introduction of what we're going to be going over. And like I said at the very beginning, for the early joiners, if you have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A box or the chat, and we'll go through all of these at the end. But to sort of introduce everything, hello and everyone, and obviously welcome to today's session. My name is Henry Hutton, and I'm a lead talent success manager at HackerJob. Today, I'm going to be the moderator of this event, which is being hosted by Bally's Interactive, which is the digital arm of Bally's Corporation. And we're going to be discussing expanding the tech landscape for sports betting, data, and machine learning. Bally's Interactive is an online gaming and sports betting provider, and they're expanding to Warwick, Rhode Island. To celebrate this, obviously, we're hosting a brand new virtual event, and we're discussing sort of who they are, what they do, the products that they're working on, as well as their tech stack, and their most significant challenges and opportunities within this space. So I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. And we have Angelo Andre, Senior Director of Software Development, Priya Chelasamy, Director of Architecture, Ravi Haldahali, Senior VP of Sports Technology, and Mark Borge, Senior Vice President of Data. As I mentioned, please ask any questions you have at any time via the Q&A box, and also tag the speaker who you'd like to answer it if it's a direct question for someone. And with that, we'll start and we'll go over to you, Ravi.
Well, thank you, Henry. I'm Ravi Haldahali. A little bit about myself. I've been working in tech industry for about 18 years now, 10 of which have been in the gaming sector. I've been with Bally's Interactive for over 2 years now. So who are we? We're a global company with presence in the US, UK, Canada, Spain, and Japan, with over 20 years of operational experience in gaming sector. Me, personally, I'm a big sports fan and fortunate to be working in a domain that intersects sports and technology. I'm looking forward to you all learning a bit more about our technology, our teams, how we are working towards creating engaging experiences everywhere. Next slide, please. As you can see, over the past several years, we've been busy at Bally's. We've acquired multiple companies, and now we're putting all of the pieces together, which creates for interesting technical problems to solve. With our customer-centric vision, we're working on the challenge of creating the best omni-channel experience for our customers by solving technical challenges that haven't been solved yet. In fact, I still get quite jazzed as I think about our future and what's to come. So whether our players engage with us at one of our casinos or resorts, whether we're playing with us online. We want to create the most amazing, seamless player experience and be that one go-to brand that is Bally's. Next slide, please. Like I mentioned previously, we at Bally's are uniquely positioned. We have regional casinos, 17 of them, have a strong interactive experience. We own all of our gaming technology, giving us a unique opportunity to innovate and create unique products that no one else in industry has yet. We also have a strategic media partnership with the largest regional sports network, Sinclair. In fact, I'm sure if you watch live sports, you have seen the Big B, the Big Bally's, Bally Sports. So, and the next slide, please. Like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said we're a global company. We have offices all across the world with a lot of tech centers. Our newest one is in Warwick, Rhode Island, and that's where I'm based out of personally. We're keen in growing it and attracting the best talent right here in New England. So thank you for joining us again this afternoon, and look forward to hearing you in through Q&A. And I'll pass it on to Angelo.
Thank you very much, Ravi. Hello, everyone. My name's Angelo Andre. I am the Senior Director of Software Development for Evolve, which is a component within Bally's Interactive. Brief little intro. I am on the completely opposite side of the continent from Ravi. I'm based out of beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, where we have an office right now. I have been in the gaming industry for just over 20 years and within Bally's Interactive for the last couple of years. So it's a great opportunity to have a chit chat and talk about what we do and give a little bit of insight. So what is it that we do? This slide here kind of gives you the kind of components, a high level view of what we do within Evolve, or what I oversee, which is basically the sports component of it. Just briefly kind of going through the different sections, but on the left-hand side, you can start seeing where we start getting our data, ingesting different information from different providers. So we take it into our system, we massage it, we kind of change it so that it can be used within the rest of our system. Then it kind of has it available to our trading platform and our core sportsbook. So with trading, we have a group of individuals based out of Las Vegas, where we have an office, and they're the ones that take a look at this information, take a look at all the events and different sporting games that are going on, and make sure that they know what's going on. See all the different types of aspects of all different sports, see how our trading volumes are coming, how our bets are coming into our system. Are there ways that we can provide more product offering to our customers to keep them engaged within the platform? In the middle is our pillar, sports. This is where everything kind of aggregates together, where we take in all the information from our providers, take in the different offerings that our trading team makes available for our customers, and actually displays it out and pushes it out to our front end. This is where we're able to create those unique betting opportunities that you see on our front end. And take a lot of different aspects into account. So we'll take a look at a customer and actually state whether or not you can view certain things, really take a key look at responsible gaming. Is there a limit that you have enforced that says, no, I'm done for today, and respects that and enforces that? Also, right next to it is our bonusing engine. So this is where we start taking a look at different areas within our customer base and say, is there a way that we can attract and keep you here within our ecosystem? Are there different scenarios that are different behaviors that we can say, hey, you place the wager on the Bills to win. If they win, we're going to give you another bonus so you can go and play within our other segments or different product offerings within the ecosystem. And last but definitely not least, retail sportsbook. This one is essentially what you think. Those are the kiosks and the over-counter machines that reside within our physical casinos. They can go up and have the exact user experience and excitement within our platform. So that is the ultimate combination of all the stuff on the left with an exciting front end that our customers can interact with. Next slide, please. So I know this is a little bit busy, but I wanted to definitely kind of highlight ways of working. So Really briefly, you can kind of see like development's on the bottom right-hand side of the slide, but you can kind of see that it is very cyclical. We do run an agile environment, an agile development process internally within Evolve and within Bally's Interactive. But you can see that there's a lot of, build, inspect, does it make sense? Go back to the backlog and just reviewing and refining and going through the different ebbs and flows within our system. But we do definitely interact with different departments. So development works with DevOps, with architecture, with product. It is a well choreographed dance that we do day in and day out to build the products that bring excitement to our customers. Next slide, please. Oh, too far. One back. Excellent. So basically, when anyone comes in, it's like, what is our career paths? What does this look like? And this is just a little snippet of career paths within development. And it does not stop anyone once you're within Bally's Interactive organization that you can't go into different areas. But this gives you a little bit of a sneak peek of, if I start in a particular position, is there career growth? And absolutely yes. We are here to foster and grow your career within the development department, within Bally's Interactive, but we're also here to support any transition to any other department within the group. So you can kind of see here a little bit where you can start from a developer and move all the way up to my position or even Ravi's position. Or if you want to go laterally into an architect's position and others. My colleague Mark will be talking a little bit about data, and there's also the opportunity of transitioning into the data group as well. We're very fluid. We're here to ensure that you have satisfaction at your job and also satisfaction of growth within the organization. So hopefully this gives you a sneak peek into different areas and facets that you're able to grow within Bally's. With that, I'm going to pass it along to Priya.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, based on where you are based off of. I'm Priya Chalasamy. I'm the Director of Architecture at Bally's Interactive. I'm based in Victoria, Canada, much more beautiful place than Angelos. I've been in the tech scene for over 23 years now. My roots are from telecom, and for the last 2 years, I've been exploring, discovering, and continue to learn in the iGaming industry. And trust me, loving every minute of it. So about architecture team, we are a strong team of 23 extremely engaged architects. We are driving innovation to create a unique iGaming experience across sportsbook, casino, and retail. How do we do it? We work in partnership with product, marketing, engineering teams, and also with other third-party partners, aligning the roadmaps, producing solutions, to Angelo's point, to the ways of working with different stakeholders and drive the overall business strategy. And our teams, I would say the single most focus is to design and to support the delivery of an intuitive iGaming app. What that comes together is that we have a single player account and a single rewards management platform for our entire ecosystem. And we want to deliver that through loosely coupled domains, as you see on these boxes, and connecting all those domains through event-based architecture, right? And at all times, we also want to ensure that the solution is future-proof. What I mean by that is that the platforms that we deliver is highly responsive and it is resilient. And we do that through cloud deployments, cloud integrations. And what that provides us with is the ability to quickly experiment and innovate in our organization. At the same time, without negotiating on the enhanced security and the data protection that we have to keep in mind, given the industry that we are working on. So given the immense opportunity, I totally understand it's a lot to chew, but it is a space that is evolving and with lots of opportunities with the high-tech technology and tools used across the ecosystem. Next slide. So in here, this is just a snapshot of our tech stack, though not very comprehensive view. But what I want to highlight here is our solutions are delivered on some of the latest cutting edge technologies and tools in the market. The reason being that we are a mobile first company and our culture is defined around fail fast. And these tools have allowed us to experiment and innovate faster. So some of the ones that I would like to call out is our applications are launched and published in the App Store. So our apps are built on front-end technologies like React and Swift. We use Spring Boot extensively for microservices. They're all containerized and scaled through Kubernetes. We have a hybrid deployments on AWS and GCP, and not to mention we have a large private cloud to protect our user data and access. One of the best way to explore and grow in this industry is to be part of a company that is innovating and evolving, and at the same time using some of the technologies that you see here. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you all, guys, and also to work with some of you all who will be part of our company in the future. Thank you. With that, I will pass it on to Mark.
Thank you, Priya. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So it's Mark here, Borj. I'm the SVP for data, and I've been for the company for the last 6 years. I've been in the tech space for the last 15 years or so, 10 of which have been in the data and gaming space. I've recently relocated to Toronto. And with that said, I would like to take this opportunity to give you all a glimpse of what's happening within the data and ML space at Bally. So I would like to start with the diagram on the right-hand side. So that's basically how we frame our deliverables as a data and machine learning team. So at the top layer, what you're seeing there is the core capabilities that's supporting all the other business deliveries. So what you can see on the left-hand side, we have like the data core aspects, like homegrown DSL-based orchestration engine, change management tools, machine control to help us like deliver faster into different states, automated reconciliation frameworks. On the right-hand side, for those familiar with the ML space, right, we're trying to tackle like typical problems that we face within the ML space, like distributed parameter, hyperparameter tuning, for example. We also have like a homegrown solution that leverages some of the hyperparameter tuning frameworks out there, different tools to consistently interact with different interfaces and connections, and also we have like an automated way to identify like data drift and model decay to our models. On the lower end, we do have the different data products. So as a data team, we do have this Vitruvian technology, and it's the way we position this technology essentially is like a generic and reusable data and ML technology that it's plugged in all the different platforms that we have internally. So as you can see there, we do have like data coming in from casino, online and retail, right? Content aggregators as well. We do have like marketing data and data coming from the retail space as well, and also sports data. On the right-hand side, you can see like the different models that we do expose. Like those are some of the different models that we have. Our main ambition here with these different models is to enhance the customer experience whilst like retaining a safe gambling environment. As you can see at the very bottom view, also we do have RG prediction capabilities. We do take RG quite seriously. So all of this is fed into, you know, like the different insights team, reporting, compliance team that are handling all of this output. So who's behind all of this, right? So we do have like 70 talented data specialists across different verticals. Internally, we do reference this as our data community. And that ranges like from architecture, engineering, delivery, leadership, right? So there's a wide range of verticals supporting all of this initiative. We do have 5 regional offices, and especially after recent like mergers and acquisitions, we adopted a hub and spoke model, whereby we try to establish like regional scalability without compromising governance. So we have a combination of central verticals, which are liaising with regional teams, and that allows us to scale regionally as required. We do provide data services for 3 different regions, and we do provide our services to like 7 internal core platforms. In terms of data, we do ingest around like 2 terabytes worth of data, which is composed around 500 million real-time events on a daily basis. All of this is part of the Kafka eventing fabric that Priya mentioned earlier on. So we are quite nicely knit with the different operational systems. We're not in this journey by ourselves, right? And so we do partner with companies like AWS, Databricks, and ThoughtWorks to validate and execute our data and ML strategy. So we do get like lots of inputs from these companies. In general, I would say it's a very exciting phase of our data transformation journey. Like any other company, we went through phases of like handling legacy, trying to modernize. I think we're at a very interesting phase at the moment. We're using all those technologies there to support our data strategy execution. In terms of R&D, we do get like lots of input from our architects, principal engineers, like tech leads. And we do have like ongoing POCs, spikes to evaluate different patterns or technologies. We also allocate like 1 day per sprint for upskilling. This is where our engineering community goes through all the different L&D content, which is organized for us by the dedicated L&D team within Bally's. And last but not least, we are always ready to adjust the sales, right? As one team, kind of to keep providing as services to the entire Bally's group. So with that, I'll hand over to Henry.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you everyone for your insights. We've got a little bit more information from you though, Mark.
Yes, we have the career path. So what you're seeing here, it's basically the different swim lanes that makes up our data community. The way we are structured, we do also have representation from product and architecture, and the people representing product and architecture, even though they are not such part of the team, they are also part of what we call the data leadership team. So that includes like the chief architect, head of data delivery, head of data systems, so on and so forth. And all of that is also fed into a broader team, which is called the tech leadership team, which spans other tech verticals beyond data. So this is how we keep our tech strategy across the group aligned. Within data, we have different swim lanes, focusing on architecture, engineering, systems. We do have our own team that's handling all the infrastructure provisioning in the cloud for all our data footprint. We have the tech leadership team as well, which is essentially the main bridge between architects and the engineers as well. We have a dedicated machine learning team, which works very closely with our data engineering. And we also have a data product swim lane as well. Each of our Scrum team is represented by a dedicated data PO, and all of these POs are in alignment together on what's the future strategy of our data execution. Also, yes, as you can see, there's different growth opportunities both like horizontally and even laterally across the different spaces. We do have like senior engineers moving to our tech leadership groups, principal engineers moving to architecture space, engineers that express interest to move to the ML space. So the permutations are quite large here, right? So we just place some examples, and sometimes it's very case by case specific. But as you can see, there's very interesting opportunities within the data space and the broader tech as well. So over to you, Henry.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Mark. Very insightful into see all the opportunities in career progression. So we'll now go into some questions. So anything that you want to know more about, please obviously type your questions in. I know a couple have come through already, and we'll absolutely get round to those. We have a couple of pre-submitted ones though, that we'll start off with. So the first one is for Angelo. Someone wanted to know, what are some of the projects that you're currently working on?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So we obviously have a huge breadth of different areas of that we need to work within. Obviously, you saw on the slide previously that I presented, you know, we have all those different areas that we kind of dabble in. And obviously, we're always working, you know, in sprint fashion to deliver more product offering to our customers and different experiences. But I can talk about one very specific experience and project that we're currently working on, where we are actually creating a watch and bet experience. So we are utilizing our partnerships with our feed providers, as well as our partnership with Sinclair, that allows us to create an experience where a customer can open up their phone or their browser, actually open up our app and view a live game and have betting opportunities presenting to them in real time. So one of the biggest challenges that we faced with doing a product offering like that is the latency. So usually it's around 40 or so seconds from the time it's recorded to the time you actually see it on your device. And we've worked with a couple of different partnerships that we can reduce that drastically down into just a few seconds from glass to glass. So these are some of the flavor of different projects that we work on and that these positions and these roles actually can contribute to. So hopefully that answered that question.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, thanks very much. And the next one we have is for Priya. Would like to, what are the most significant challenges and opportunities waiting for you in the near future?
All right, so it's a pretty loaded question there, Henry. What I see is the whole legalized sports wagering across the US almost feels like modern day gold rush, right? So today, as we speak today, we have around 20 plus jurisdictions or states in the United States that have legalized wagering on sporting events. While others are expected to jump on the board in the very near future. So the prediction says that around 80% of almost all states will allow wagering by 2024. So as these opportunities grow, several technology challenges exist, right? So I'm just going to name like three major ones that we in the architecture space always keep an eye on when we solution it day in and day out. The first being the fraud detection, right? As sports wagering market flourishes, the fraud or the potential for fraud increases exponentially. So for example, the use of open source solutions, though they might be cost effective and bring a lot of benefits right away to the businesses, they do pose security issues when it comes to iGaming. And we have seen few incidents happen in the recent days with the denial of service attacks and things like that. So the solutions that we build and deliver have to keep in mind about what are those loopholes when we implement it through different libraries, when we bring different tools in-house to do it. So there is a strong urge to reinvent the wheel in the space because of the potential risk to our user data or the user accesses. The second part is the data management and protection, and I'm sure Mark will expand in his space. We all know data is the king in sports betting market, right? Angelo talked about it, how we bring all the data together. We have to be on real time. Watch and bet was used as an example. So players require quick and reliable statistics all the time, right? And the operators who can make those data accessible in a more secure way will remain competitive. That's the key, right? But at the same time, we have to make sure that these data are protected, right? When we talk about data, especially in the iGaming industry specifically, everyone thinks that US has 50 states, so there should be 50 sets of rules, right, at the minimum. But actually, there are 260 jurisdictions that I learned about. So there are 260 sets of rules that the platform have to adhere to, because it is highly regulated industry. So we have to make sure that the solutions that we deliver do not just deliver the feature or the capability, but we also have to keep in mind about the regulatory rules, the policies, the responsible gaming initiatives that we are being part of, and all that, right? Lastly is the sports betting industry is user-facing, customer-facing industry, and the user journey takes almost the center stage, right? So here's the thing. So you can develop the most robust online sports betting platform in the world, but if it's confusing to use, then the chances of being successful almost becomes virtually non-existent. So when we do our solutioning and the design in our team, the primary keys that we keep in mind is about a successful user experience. So every time we ask the question, yes, it is the coolest thing to do, but is this the most intuitive way to support the user experience? So our platform have to be designed in the most intuitive way that is newbie friendly, right? Because we wanted everyone to be part of this community, and it has to be mobile first. It also has to have security features without being overly restrictive. We should be able to offer clear payment. We should be able to deal with payout options. So ideally making the user feel like they're almost enjoying a personalized experience on our app, but also trying to be part of the larger community of sports fan, right? So it's kind of like a balancing act. So those are three things that poses as both opportunities and the challenges. And we navigate through those spaces every day. And I think it's almost a dream come true for any technologist to be part of in this new evolving industry.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much for that. And then our next question sort of links to a one from the audience as well. So we'll combine the two into one for you, Priya. I'd like to get a little bit more of a sneak peek into the tech stack you use. And Dean's asked a very interesting question around whether or not you're considering including blockchain and NFTs into your tech stack.
Absolutely, and I think there is metaverse as an example. Like we are extremely positioned to be almost on the forefront of that kind of innovation, and blockchain is definitely in the radar right now. I think just learning from my own experience coming from a mature industry like telecom, in the iGaming space, we are definitely looking up to other industries on how they're adopting, how are they failing fast, and trying to innovate in a smaller space. For us would be one of the ways that we will be delivering blockchain solution.
Wonderful, great, thank you very much. And if we could go to the tech stack slide, and if you could give us just a slight more, obviously, sneak peek into the technologies that you're using. Oh, apologies, we seem to have lost the slides there. There we go. Yeah, if you could give us a slight sneak peek into the tech stack, I'll see that you're currently using.
I think the slide, next slide. Sure. So if you, the way we have categorized, like it's been grouped to give a sense of the different tools. As I said, this is not comprehensive. This is more the highlights of some of the tools that we use. We being a mobile first company, we are always into the Swift and the Kotlin or on how our apps have been deployed and developed. The React and AngularJS have come about on our web interfaces and web development to make sure that they are all complementing, with giving a unified front end. The lots of standards have been employed. We are using highly event-driven architecture because we talk about 3 different domains. If someone has just noticed, because we've been using things across our conversation here, there's sportsbook, there's iCasino, and digital retail. And we want to ensure the data presented to the users, the user experience across all these channels are consistent. So we want to make sure that they are pulled together through an event-driven architecture. So we have deployments on Confluent Cloud. At the same time, we also have on-prem Apache Kafka deployments across the board. So it's kind of like a hybrid based on what their needs are and whatnot. On the Kubernetes side, so one of the aspects is that there will be a extensively high volume of transactions going on a given event. So if it's a Thursday night football, for example, or the March Madness as an example, there's quite a lot of sports betting or sports wagering happening in our platform. So to enable those, we have deployed our services on Kubernetes so that they can scale up and down based on the needs. Solutions are hosted on hybrid cloud. Again, the reason being that certain solutions require a certain type of cloud implementation. So we have made sure that we have extended. So our concept has always been that one size doesn't fit all. So instead of saying, hey, you know what, this is the tech stack, this is static, and this is how we develop. So try to fit in your feature or a requirement into this implementation design. We always tend to open it up to make sure that the solution is delivered in the most efficient way with identifying the right tool sets. And also keeping in mind, again, we have a large governance when it comes to tech stack selection, ensuring that the right tool sets and softwares are deployed in our ecosystem and so on and so forth. And with that, I think I will hand off to Mark to speak about the data tech stack and how that expansion is happening. So Mark, can you jump in?
Yeah, thanks, Priya. So from a data standpoint, as we've mentioned before, right, we've recently underwent a transformation from certain legacy solutions, right, into a more cloud native setup. We always wanted to have a cloud agnostic solution, and that is where we landed with Databricks. It was at that point as well that we started considering like some new paradigms, such as the lakehouse paradigm as well. We have switched, like all our ingestions to Kafka. All our data is being ingested through Kafka. We do have like all our orchestration being done using homegrown solutions, which are based on Python, Apache Spark to handle all the different processing. So we don't use any particular proprietary tooling for such data orchestration. We are also in the process or at least we're evaluating the different principles being applied from a data mesh point of view as well. And throughout this journey, we're finding that companies like, or technologies like Databricks are helping us quite drastically throughout this journey. And the good thing is that the solution and the tech stack that we have adopted is cloud agnostic, right? So we could have like any data product living in either one of the major cloud vendors. and it can also be set up on-prem, and that gives us like lots of rigor around like handling different jurisdictions. So we try to minimize the vendor lock-in as much as possible, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've had a few data-related questions from the audience. Evan, I know you've responded to them already, but for everyone else in the event, has asked, how are data products being exposed? Is it through a Databricks marketplace?
Yeah, for sure. I think I replied to that one, but in the interest of other participants, we do have different layers of consumption, right? The way we position ourselves as a data team, right, is to gather all the data, right, generate all the different insights on top of the data and expose the data. As a data team, we're not the ones that are actually taking the action, right, or sending an email or triggering a campaign. So the way our data and derived insight is exposed is through different layers, and it depends on the case. So, for example, we have dedicated BI teams that are responsible for the dashboard building, right? They are the ones like querying our lakehouse directly. And we have dedicated insights team. They also query the lakehouse directly as well. Then from a machine learning recommendations, predictions point of view, our majority of our existing workloads are taking an event-driven approach, whereby we trigger an event, such as like an RG score event, and that event is then consumed by the respective operational microservice, if we can put it like that, right? And the appropriate action is taken accordingly. So whenever there's a third-party system, we're taking an event-driven approach. And however, for the teams which are closer to the broader data community, they do query our lakehouses directly.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. And then Emmanuel's asked the final data question, I think, for now, which is, with such a broad portfolio of brands, how do you avoid data silos?
That's a very good question. So historically, as a data team, one of our inherent nature was kind of to build like a monolith or a data mart that tries to accommodate everything, right? And with the advent of data mesh, that ideology is being challenged a little bit. And the idea is to look at it from a data quantum point of view, whereby a given data product, it's not a centralized data mart or something of that sort. It's more of a data quantum which is closer to the operational systems. Okay, so with that in mind, what we're designing is a domain-driven lakehouse architecture, which is essentially the broader mesh, right? And there will be an element of interoperability between the different lakehouse instances. So by design, the domain-driven aspect will not stop at the microservice or the operational system layer. It will propagate down to the data aspect as well. And we're finding that methodology is minimizing, the barrier between the typical operational architectures and the big data architecture. So we're trying to bring them as closer as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on it slightly there as well, but are you going to be adopting the data mesh paradigm?
Yeah, it's a question we do ask ourselves as well. So the short answer, right, it's no, right? It's too early for us to say that we are officially adopting data mesh. However, as an internal data community, we truly believe that data mesh really challenged the status quo on how we delivered data solutions for decades. And we believe that that there's lots of value in trying to understand this paradigm better. We're not the typical community that say data mesh is the thing, and we do a deep dive, we try to evaluate and assess the situation better. So internally, we're looking at how certain data mesh principles, like as outlined originally by Zamak Dagani, right, apply to our current state of play, and primarily in terms of operating culture, right, and overall data maturity. And reason being is that from an architectural standpoint, we were already taking a decentralized, right, and a domain-driven approach when we develop our data products. However, as I mentioned before, we're far away from saying, like that we have a data quantum as evangelized by data mesh. And we are also keeping a close eye on certain technological advancements in areas like HTAP, the hybrid transaction and analytical processing, right? Because this has the potential to further break the wall between transactional and analytical processing. And it also aligns with data mesh ambition. So we're trying to take the best out of all this, like research, discussions, right, outcome from stuff like data mesh. But at the end of the day, whichever direction we end up going for, we will be measuring our success by like two key metrics. One being the decreased lead time to discover and consume a data product. And the other aspect is around like closing the divide between operational systems architectures and big data architectures. If we manage to achieve this, irrespective from which paradigm we use, right, I think we would have made like very good progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And there's been a few questions in the chat and there's some pre-questions as well on sort of hiring at the moment. So Andrew, would you like to take us through what sort of types of roles are currently on offer and how they sort of would help the team, the wider company and your mission?
Sure, absolutely. So we have a variety of different positions open. The screen that you're seeing, or the slides you're seeing on the screen right now, is the ones that are currently being recruited out of Warwick. But on another slide, you'll actually have a link that actually will go to our careers page, and you can see a variety of all the open positions within Bally's Interactive as a whole in all different areas and different office locations. With that being said, we are hiring developers, senior developers, QA automation engineers, React Native engineers, you name it, we probably have a job for it. Why we're recruiting so much is that we are in growth mode. We are looking at areas to expand and actually create more product offering for our customers. So we have a lot of exciting projects, like I mentioned earlier with the Watch and Bet project, where we wanted to create a new experience and bring the Bally's brand alive and bring it out to the masses. So there's a lot of opportunity within the organization, and there's a lot of exciting projects on the horizon that we want to make sure that we have the right workforce in place so we can move forward against those ones.
Absolutely, yeah. And probably one for Ravi. What does career progression look like at Bally's?
Yeah, good question. Look, part of our ethos is we're a very flat organization, right? And Angelo and Mark sort of walked through the career paths. And what I want to state is you could start within any of our departments, and like I said, we're a global organization with many different technology stacks, and career progression is what you want it to be, right? And if you're happy being an engineer, you can continue to progress within that same domain. If architecture piques your interest, you can laterally move into architecture and sort of grow through that. We've also had people who started in tech that moved over to product and are doing really, really well. So at the end, our focus is to make sure that you have an engaging career and you're happy working with us and you're being productive in your role. And all of us our job is to sort of support you through that. So it is what you want to be. Obviously, the benefit of organization of our size is there's several avenues you can sort of grow.
Absolutely. And linked to also progression, Leah has asked, how do you develop your workforce? Do you offer education stipends or tuition reimbursement? I know you have an internal tool as well.
Yeah, no, thank you for that question, Leah. So I sort of always look at education as the formal and informal, right? So there's the formal part of education where you go on courses, you take online courses or physical courses, and you sort of progress through. But equally important, what I find at Bally's is all of the informal education, which includes mentorship, being in projects that are challenging, that sort of push you to learn new things, expose you to different opportunities, and a combination of that with strong mentorship is what gets the best out of the people that we have. In terms of like formal education, we have, I would say, one of the best learning and development platforms, which is called Beehive. It has over 200,000 pieces of content. And we also have LinkedIn Learning. There's pretty much any topic that you want to learn that's relevant to us, you can find it there. But as I said, that's only one part. But we also focus on the informal part of education as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. And then I know obviously you and Mark have both relocated. What's the experience like relocating with Bally's?
Go ahead, Mark. I'll follow you.
Thank you, Ravi. So yes, as you said, kind of like I recently relocated from Waltham to Toronto 5 months ago now. I mean, what I can say, like it's our talent, like and acquisition, are quite instrumental in all of this process. Right, they helped me as an internal employee, right, and they help like external employees as well during the onboarding process. They do have like well-defined, policies and processes in place that facilitate this process. So they really made like a complex task look quite trivial to help me relocate. So they're quite well equipped to handle these situations. And I'm sure that Ravi had a similar experience as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I moved about a year back now from Canada as well to Warwick, Rhode Island. I moved through the whole pandemic thing where it was really difficult to move our stuff, and it was unfortunately delayed by 6 weeks. What's memorable to me is we were still staying at the hotel as we were waiting for our stuff to arrive, and one day our HR team just showed up with some home cooked food because they just figured we were being tired of eating outside. All that to say, it's one of those things that that our HR team sort of really puts their heart into it and makes sure that whoever they're relocating have the best experience that they can have, even with the uncontrollables that come with it. So really glad to have done that with Bally's.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a few audience questions around sort of remote work, sort of hybrid work, and also one around, do you have any plans to set up a development center in India? So could you touch on obviously sort of your remote hybrid and if you have any plans?
Yeah, sure. Look, right now there are no plans to set up an ODC in India. We do work with few contractors based out of India, but never say never. Currently not on the books.
And then on the sort of remote hybrid aspect, what is it? What's it like at Bally's in terms of, sort of that work life and also sort of the remote hybrid aspects to your roles?
Yeah, for sure. Currently, we're not hiring fully remote roles. What I mean by that is we're trying to hire people that are closer to one of the many locations we have, but we do have a hybrid work policy. And as you know, most employers coming out of COVID are still figuring out how this is going to work, and we're not different from those. But I do want to impress upon all of you is one of the things that we are keen on is bringing people into the office where it makes sense, right? So if it's a collaborative session where it makes sense for people to collaborate in person, we want to bring them in. We are trying to stick with a 3-to-1 policy. 3 days encouraged 2 days mandatory and 1 day being a Thursday, because that's when most people tend to come back to the office. And again, it's not just about just forcing people into the office. It's about making sure that there are sessions that are appropriate for people to come in and collaborate. And in terms of a question on work-life balance, Henry. Look, I'm a prime example of that, right? I have a 4.5-year-old going on 10, which makes it for a really, really interesting day, right? And I'm fortunate that I work with my team and my colleagues that really understand and put that in perspective, right? So I have the flexibility to go pick up my daughter when it's time for daycare, and doesn't matter if our CEO has set up the call, because I have to go and pick up my daughter at that time. And there are times when I work overnight to catch up on things, and after I put my kid to bed, and that's perfectly fine too. So at the end, we all believe in the well-being of our employees, and we want to make sure that we are accommodating our lives into how we work, and making sure that well-being is top of our mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a couple of final ones to see, being cognizant of time. Someone would like to know what your sort of grad roles are sort of are like. How often do you hire for grads? Is there anything sort of starting sort of springtime next year?
Yeah, really good question, right? So right now we haven't officially kicked off the program in Warwick. We do have grad programs in other locations. It is something we're actively looking into. We're quite fortunate, obviously, in the area we're in. We have really good schools around us, and we'd like to attract the talent. So more to come on that. But whoever has a question, please reach out to us directly. Everything is a case-by-case basis as we set up that program formally.
Yeah, great. And Susie's asked one question, is sort of the next step for operators to leverage the data they have on users and risk behavior to help them realize they may be sort of playing irresponsibly?
Yeah, in fact, we do have like processes, and we do leverage our data to basically provide like a safer gaming environment to our players. We do have like dedicated teams, right, that help customers, like set certain limits where appropriate. So yes, we do heavily leverage our data to provide such visibility.
I'll just add to that. It's a very timely question as well. Thanks for that. September was designated as Responsible Gaming Education Month by the American Gaming Association. And what we have done is we have come in collaboration with some of the largest online gaming providers in the country to define and agree on the first ever industry-led responsible gaming standards. What we are trying to do here is that we don't want to address this in silos, so that the players or our customers don't feel that their experience has been different across the board when it comes to responsible gaming. So we are working with policymakers, the experts from the academic side, the problem gaming treatment organizations, as well as our customers, to promote responsible gaming as a way of life when they are engaging with our games. So that's actually a commitment to prevent underage or excluded individuals from participating in any form of gaming in any of our platforms, right? And I think these providers, I would say, almost the leaders within this industry, along with Bally's, we are not just defining and agreeing among each other, but we also wanted to continuously track the impact of these collaborations, on our players, on our community as a whole. So, and have also extended into the employee training side of things, continuously monitoring operators for gaming programs that have been shared with our customers, and the different initiatives to make sure that we are compliant with the standards that we are defining for our industry. So responsible gaming is a part that it's taken very seriously within Bally's and interactive space, and it's one of the pillars of Mark Borge when we are talking about the limits and how do we share about those limits with our players.
That's wonderful. Thanks very much, everyone. And we've come to the end, unfortunately. I know there's one question from Leah around onboarding. Feel free to reach out to any of the wonderful speakers from today to go over that, and also see career opportunities at Bally's. On that, obviously, Bally's are actively hiring right now in Rhode Island, and as a follow-up we will provide a link to their careers page to everyone here, where you can find the list of all the open positions as well as their benefits. If you're interested in any career opportunities, please register via the form and email, and we'll come back to you, or reach out directly to the team. And have a wonderful day, and thank you very much, Angelo, Ravi, Mark and Priya, for your insight and time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.